Hi everybody, it's Amanda. Today I'm going to be talking about what we are doing for my son Jonathan. That's this guy. He is 10 and he has just started year 6 in the UK, and we are going to go over his Charlotte Mason inspired home education routine and curriculum, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, this may actually be really hard to record. So first of all, we're actually going to start with sport because I think that's quite easy, isn't it? Sport, yeah. So Jonathan does a couple of sports. You do football and fencing and swimming. And what's your favourite of those?
Swimming, by far.
You love a good swim.
Yeah.
He does each of those about once a week, typically. Okay, next up, music. So he's learning 2 instruments. Tell us what instruments you're learning.
Piano and drums.
And how do you learn piano?
By Hoffman Academy.
Which is an online learning program, which we actually think is really, really good. Yeah. And how do you do drums?
By this program called Melodics.
Which is also an online program. As a Charlotte Mason family, we also do music appreciation. So every month we do a folk song, a hymn, and then every term we do a different composer. So, Johnny, what was your favourite folk song from last year that we've done?
Well, I had several favourites, but one of my main favourites were The Fox and Watson Matilda. I like them. Yeah, they were good.
Our composer for this term actually started this morning. Who's that?
Johannes Brahms.
Okay. And then whenever we can, we do. What you got there?
I like it. It's amazing. Oh.
Okay. We also are very much looking forward to going to a music event at the Royal Albert Hall next month. And we are.
Yeah.
Let's move on to literature. So every day, pretty much, he reads a poem from
the Oxford Book of Children's Verse.
And he's got 3 books he's working through this year. Can you show us, Donna?
The first one is Tales from King Arthur.
Yeah.
And the next one is Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. And the final one is Age of Fable, or my nickname for it is Age McFable. Bullfinch's Creek and Roman mythology.
So being Charlotte Mason, we do a lot of reading, but also narrating. So these books, he will either tell me back each chapter orally, talking about it, or he will do a typed narration and write out what happened in that chapter. So keeping with the English theme, we also do copy work because that's a standard Charlotte Mason thing. It's something we do every day.
Copy work is amazing!
And he is currently on the final collection of Copywork Cave Level 2. I will link below in the description to a 20% discount code for Copywork Cave if you're interested. We also do some creative writing, and Jono takes part in an online writing class called Zoom Writers by the children's author Robin Price, and he's really enjoying that and doing really, really well. Can you tell us something about Zoom Writers?
Well, basically what you're trying to do is that there's a group of kids and they're trying to make a story, and yeah, it's a good way to become creative in writing stuff like that. So yeah.
I have to say Robin does an excellent job of managing an online meeting, shall we say, of 10-year-olds and under. I will also put a link to Zoom Writers below because I really recommend it, worth giving it a try. We're also getting a bit more stuck into grammar this year, and he is just beginning by working through a set of grammar facts. I think there's about 30 grammar facts that he's working through and memorising. Yeah? Okay.
50?
30.
Oh, phew.
Finally, on the English sort of theme is recitation, which is something, again, that the Charlotte Mason method encourages to do quite regularly. We are currently only doing it twice a week, but that's in addition to the children's verse. So you are doing a poem this term and a passage from the Bible. Can you remember the name of your poem? We're only 2 weeks into this term. Never mind. By the end of the term, he will have committed it to memory, and I have to say he's a great little actor and really good at reciting. Maths. So maths is something pretty important, and in the Charlotte Mason method it's something you do every day. So you do maths pretty much every day. How do you do maths?
By this online program called Khan Academy, which involves from year 1 to year 9, or I think that is maths.
It takes you from reception up to A-level maths, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got really short video lessons, and then straight away you get tested on what you've been learning, and every so often you have a quiz and then a test at the end of the unit, and that's a free program. It's really good. Academy works on the American grade system, so it's not directly comparable to the UK, but what grade are you working on in the system?
Grade 6, which I think is year 7.
I think so, roughly year 7.
Yeah.
So in terms of art, Jono, what kind of art do you like?
Well, I like painting, and we don't do that often, but I also like sometimes when we go around to a friend's house, we do some kind of art there.
So each term we study a different artist, and this term we're going to be studying Matisse, and we just do the really simple approach of looking at a piece of art for a minute or two, closing the book or turning the painting over, and then narrating and talking about it. Can you remember, Jono, who was one of the artists we did last year?
Leonardo da Vinci? J.M.W. Turner was a good one too. Kinda.
Yeah, Turner's not known for being quite so exciting as someone like Picasso, is he?
No, he's not.
We are doing a monthly watercolour project though, doing a phenology wheel, which is recording your year in terms of nature and what you observe outside in watercolour. This is how Jono's is looking so far. We also do a weekly craft session, and we did some really good crafts last year. We're just beginning this year, so we haven't even decided what our craft's going to be. But what craft did you do last year?
Well, we did candle making, which is really fun, and we also made our own pillows. Yeah, we also learned to sew, and we made our own cushions, and this is my one I made, which has basically got a pattern of elephants, and I was the only one who did the ribbon in the middle and the button. Yeah, we also used whittling, which is very useful, because some people escape prison by whittling guards' keys, so you never know when you might need your penknife one day, or a penknife one day.
Now let's talk about history. So we've got a number of books, living books, that we are working through this year. First of all, we've got 50 Famous Lives, which is a bunch of biographies. Hold up. So he'll be reading at least 10 different biographies of important people. We're also reading Our Australasian Story, which is part of the bigger book, Our Empire Story, written by H.G. Marshall in the early 20th century. And it's just literally taken out the sections about Australia and New Zealand because Jono is half Kiwi. He's also reading the children's Plutarch and Greek lives. We're also doing as a family a story of the world, and we are nearly going to be finishing up the early modern era. And I do that normally once or twice a month.
So for whenever I learn a new thing about history, I have to put it in my book of centuries, which is basically if something's happened in say 400 to 301 BC, then you just put it in here. Oh, I've already written something there. And then you just put it in these lines and write down the date and what happened. So yeah, pretty short.
Also for us, history is really brought to life by getting out. So this week we were really, really lucky to be able to get tickets for the first Home Educator Day at the Tower of London.
Yeah.
So, Johnny, what was your favourite thing about the Tower of London?
Most certainly the crown jewels.
Yeah.
And the doors are so thick.
Yeah, going and see the crown jewels, you feel like you're going into a high security prison.
And you basically are.
You are.
It's basically a vault.
This month we're also going to Chiddingstone Castle to look at an Egyptian exhibition, and there will be loads of things we do all year that are really where history actually happened. So for geography, we've really got three main approaches. First of all, we've got a book called Paddle to the Sea, which he's reading with his brother, which is focused on the Great Lakes up in Canada and the USA. And for that, we do some map work. And then he's reading The Orient, which is one of Richard Halliburton's Book of Marvels. Did I say Book of Marvels?
I think you may have said Book of Marvels.
Book of Marvels. And he then finds that location on the map. And Story of the World also includes map work as well. All right, languages. You're learning 3 languages, Jonathan. What are they?
I'm learning Latin. I'm also learning Spanish. And we're also learning Hebrew as well, which is quite nice.
So we do Spanish with Duolingo and Latin we're working through a book. This is the book we're using for Latin and we do it once a week. Hebrew, we're using the Aleph with Beth program, which is completely free and it's on YouTube, and I highly recommend it if you're interested in learning Hebrew. Science now, we've got 3 living books we're working through this term on science. Can you tell us about them, John?
Well, the first one is called Archimedes and the Draw of Science, which is basically about Archimedes and what he did.
Yeah, really.
And another book called The Animals of the British Isles, or Animals of Britain, which Mum made me a good notebook. I know that's a badger, has a very long tail, unfortunately it's so embarrassing, but still, Mum made a good notebook for it and it's very good. I highly recommend it, and so is this book.
So after he's read about each animal, he just fills in a page. You can get a copy of that on Amazon if you want one for your child. I'll put a link in the description.
And a new book I'm learning, which is called Insect Adventures. So far, I have barely learned anything from it. Apart from that, seaweed can be used to purify water. Purify. And it's been interesting so far, in a goodish way.
He's also learning physics on Khan Academy. Can you tell us about that?
Well, so far it's just been about, say, net force, which is like a big asteroid with 2 rockets is the same force as one small asteroid with 1 rocket, and they'll go the same speed. That's what I learnt in one of the videos, at least. Yeah, it was good.
So he's doing middle school physics on Khan Academy, and when he's finished that, he'll probably move on to the next middle school science subject.
What about high school physics?
You're not at high school yet, mate. 18.
Oh.
We'll also be doing regular science experiments and nature study as well. He's also doing logic. Now, we live in Kent where they have the 11 plus test for children who want to get into grammar secondary schools. He isn't going to secondary school, so he doesn't need to worry about the 11 plus, but we are using some of the resources just to teach logic. We're starting with this one here, and he'll just do 1 page once a week.
Don't worry, I was bamboozled too.
Obviously, there's loads of other life skills and things that we're doing all the time, lots of different events. In fact, you're quite good in the kitchen. You like cooking, and I believe you've agreed to cook lasagna for us tonight. Is that right?
Yeah.
Finally, Jono, can you just tell everybody, really honestly, what do you enjoy most about being educated at home this way?
Well, there are several things, one of which is that I get to be close to my pet guinea pig called Sushi, because she's so cute. Hello, Sushi. And another one is that randomly, sometimes we just take holidays, like that time we went 2 weeks off for Zoe's birthday in Wales. That was nice. And the time a few weeks ago when we went to Dorset on a Friday.
Yeah, we went swimming. We did a day trip to Dorset, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Mandeville Cove, one of the best beaches in England. I wouldn't have met some of my best friends now because they moved from London and they were doing homeschooling. And if I was still in school, I would never have met them. Well, I might have, but it wouldn't have been as good. So, yeah, that's definitely one of the highlights.
Your friends.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Jono, for agreeing to be on this video. And
You're welcome.
If anyone's got any questions at all about his routine, please put them in the comments and I will answer them. And if I need to ask his opinion, I will ask as well.
You will?
I will.
Oh, okay.
Bye.
Bye.